Hey, happy Father's Day, everybody. Hey, I'm proud to say I'm a father of two grown boys who've made it into adulthood relatively unscathed. In fact, they're in the audience tonight. Before I came out, my youngest was like, "Dad, please don't epically embarrass us." And I was like, still so naive, even though they're grown. I'm like, doesn't he realize that's a father's job, right? To embarrass them? So I'm going to start off by telling a dad joke. So here goes. If a child refuses to lay down at nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? I know it's supposed to be bad, but half the dads out there are writing it all down. Okay, I know that. That's for you, son. You're welcome. You don't have to change my diapers yet, okay? But the nice thing about being a dad is you get to know the differences in your children, right? You get to know the differences. Like my oldest. My oldest had this unique skill. He was a bleeder. So he would get a nosebleed at the drop of a hat. I mean, if there was a temperature change, his nose would start bleeding. It was, you'd be driving in the car and you'd look in the rearview mirror and suddenly he'd be covered with blood. And I mean, like that movie Carrie, right? Like a bucket of blood, and he'd be laughing about it, right? He'd be, Now, this wasn't his only major skill. He was also a projectile vomiter. Which was nice. The doctor said he has a hair trigger gag reflex. Okay, so you would put like a Cheerio down his gullet, and he would. Blah! Blah! It made going to the Chili's a little bit difficult because you would eat one of those little goldfish crackers, and pretty soon, all the kids in the Chili's are now barfing, and you'd be asked to leave. So I said to the pediatrician, is there anything we can do about this? And he said, well, you can hope he grows out of it. I can hope he grows out of it. He can hope he grows out of it. It's going to make the prom a little difficult, don't you think? Oh, look, shrimp cocktail. And I thought, well, maybe that's why we don't date as toddlers, right? Among other reasons. But maybe that's the reason. Tell me about yourself. Well, I bleed profusely, I projectile vomit, and I crap my pants 8 times a day. Okay, well, swipe left. Okay? Now, my youngest, radically different. He was a stone-cold assassin on a baseball diamond, right? He used to be a pitcher, and you say, well, how does that translate into later life? Well, he's sneaky. He's a spy kid, right? So here's an example. One day, we're driving along the road. He's sitting in the passenger seat. He says, hey, Dad, can I see your phone? I'd like to check out some of your music. Oh, it was a proud dad moment. You're kind of like, oh, wow, the kid wants to check out my music. And here's the thing I have to warn you about, parents. You may already know this. Your children will always know more about technology than you do. Okay? Always. So what I didn't know, and what you maybe don't know, is that on your texting app on your phones, you can set shortcut keys. So let's say you want to type in the letter M, and you can type in M, and it'll say, make it there shortly. Or you can type in I, and it'll type in, I'll call you back. I didn't know about this feature until my son wanted to check out my tunes. Okay? So the next day, I get my phone back. A friend of mine is trying to set up a meeting. Can we set up that meeting for 10 a.m. tomorrow? I type the letter K, and as I'm hitting send, the word intercourse appears. With an exclamation point. I like intercourse, okay, I guess? I send it, he sends, does that mean the meeting's not happening? So I type the word no, and as I'm hitting send, the word boobs appears with an exclamation point. Right? So I have this really strange exchange with a business associate where he's asking about meetings, and I'm just sending intercourse boobs, intercourse boobs, intercourse boobs. I had to Google that. It took me a couple days to figure out how to undo it. I would just, then everybody wondered why I was typing out the word okay. Because nothing came up with it. So just be forewarned. I'm just letting you know. One of the other things I'm proudest that I did as a father was I took my kids to Mommy and Me. I was the only dad at Mommy and Me. That's why I prefer to call it Parent and Me, because I am not sexist. Okay? But you find out a lot about society when you're like the only one of something. I was the only guy in this room full of women. Right? I found out a lot about how that worked, because the power central station at Mommy and Me was always the arts and crafts table. or as a friend of mine called it, the arts and crafts table. Right? So we'd go sit at the table, and all the women there would complain about their husbands, because a lot of them, they had husbands that were like accountants and lawyers and doctors, and they were gone from the house like 20 hours a day, so they were always complaining about them. And the other thing that I discovered is that women are incredibly competitive, but in a different way than men. You know, men, it's like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to punch you, right? It's all very physical, it's all very overt. With women, it's very covert, right? So they'd sit there and say stuff like, went to the pediatrician yesterday, and they told me that little Timmy's at the 112th percentile for height. Oh, really? Well, they told me that little Wanda is at the 135th percentile for height. Really? You know, the doctor tells me Connor's going to be 6'8". I'm like, well, I'm going to join in on this. I don't know what they're talking about. And, you know, my little boy Tommy over there is on the 250th percentile scale for brain size. Yeah. Notice his bulbous head like an alien from Star Trek? Yeah. He talks to me with my, oh, hold on. He needs another juice box. I better get it for him because otherwise he'll start setting things on fire telekinetically. Okay? I would do stuff like that because it was fun to do. Now the weird thing at Mommy and Me was about 6 weeks in, the day came when the teacher announced that it was going to be, that Saturday was going to be Daddy Day at Mommy and Me. And I'm like, well, do I go to Daddy Day at Mommy and Me? Does the wife go to Daddy Day at Mommy and Me? I wasn't sure. So I decided, well, I want to meet these assholes. I'm going to go to Daddy Day at Mommy and Me. So I went to Daddy Day at Mommy and Me, and immediately, I'm set upon by some of the dads. You know, it's like, are you the unemployed weirdo that's hanging out with our wives? Yeah, that's me. But of course, there's also very overt competition going on in that room, right? So at the arts and crafts table, they're like using little beans and pegs to make a schematic of the Saturn V rocket and all this kind of stuff. But it got really bad. Because all these guys are very alpha male types. It got really bad when we sat down to do a sing-along. They decided we were going to sing Old MacDonald. Let's sing Old MacDonald. I think you all know how it goes. And I'll start by naming, I'll start by naming an animal, and we'll go around clockwise, and all you dads can join in. Old MacDonald had a farm, and on his farm he had a cow. And so start with the first dad. He was a lawyer. And like, with a moo-moo here and a moo-moo there, I'm talking about a cow. I'm not talking about animals wearing dresses. None of the animals on my farm are wearing dresses, okay? Right, so that set the stage for that. As it kept going around the circle, it kept getting more competitive. More and more competitive, to the point where the dads were trying to name animals that you didn't know what sound they made. Right? You had no idea. Right? And on his farm, he had a jellyfish. Well, the dads are picking up on the challenge, right? With a here and there. Right, well, got around to me. Hey, got around to me, and I'm like, and on his farm, he had a marmot. Well, so the guy next to me just starts singing, Old MacDonald had a farm, you go fuck yourself. That kind of officially ended the whole Old MacDonald sing-along. The thing I learned about that experience with both men and women is that I learned this. I learned that if women ran the world, we would probably have solved climate change. We'd probably have peace in the Middle East. And for sure, we would have never deep-fried a Twinkie, right? That's a very male activity, right? We did a Twinkie, what do we do next? How about a stick of butter? That sounds great. What do we do now? How about your ass? Okay, Bubba, get up on the deep fry. I don't know why they're from the South. It just seems from the South. The other thing I thought about with Mommy and Me, and I thought deeply about this, is what would Mommy and Me have been like for our current president? Now, I'm sure, right? He's empathetic. He's kind. He's self-employed, right? He probably took his kids to Mommy and Me, don't you think? Right? I'm sure it would have been something like this, probably.
Oh, it's really great to be here at Mommy and Me, okay? I love it. I love especially hanging out with all the mommies that are 8+, okay? In fact, if I'm going to have to sit at the arts and crafts table, I want to sit next to that mommy with the tits over there, okay? I've taken all my children to Mommy and Me, okay? Eric was problematic because, he would hunt down all the stuffed animals with his little toy sniper rifle, that he got from my friend Idi Amin. Huge fan of that guy, by the way. Little Donnie was always, being in fights with the other children, so I would have to solve those. No, Timmy. that's little Donnie's truck, and that's little Donnie's box of balls, and oh, that's also a Donnie's construction box. What do you get, Timmy? You get a diaper full of poop, okay? I mean, I have a diaper full of poop too, because I had a bucket of chicken and 8 Cokes. But I'm going to be president one day, okay? And when I become president, the first thing I'm going to do is promote Colonel Sanders to be General Sanders. I'm just saying, he makes a great bucket of chicken, okay? But my favorite memory of being Mommy and Me was with my darling little Ivanka. Oh, I remember the days of Mommy and Me with Ivanka. I would have the Eastern European nanny put her in her little romper, and we'd go to Mommy and Me, and I'd sit at the crafts table, and she would sit on my lap with her short little skirt, and she'd wrap her little petite hands around those little beans that she'd paste on the crafts table. Oh, Ivanka, never met a man other than your father. Oh, please.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went. I just want to say I've done a lot of things in my life. I've written for Spider-Man with Stan Lee. I've written on the Power Rangers. I've traveled the world working for Lego. But the thing I'm most proud of is being a dad. And so I want to say congratulations to all the dads out there. Keep up the good work, and thank you.